associate. I'm on the run, not from the law, but I got to shortly because I have to be in Ann Arbor. But I was just figured out a way to make all this work. And I bring greetings also from Lisa Alexander, who also couldn't be here because she's just returning from a class reunion from undergraduate college, Grinnell. And she says she's being COVID careful for all of you. So very quickly, I wrote a short piece for Walter so that I would remember to be precise. Walter Edwards always greets me with, "Hello, friend." His smile makes me smile, and this seemingly modest gesture reaffirms that our relationship extends beyond professional cordiality. As one struggles to navigate the woes and throes of the academy, this greeting is a confirmation that affirms our humanity, which is very important for equality of life. Perhaps this does not seem essential to many, but for those of us whose experiences in this profession are often contentious, that often is not associated with collegiality or congeniality, this one gesture can change the mood of the day. More specifically, Walter was one of the first persons who befriended me when I joined the faculty at Wayne State. He is a linguist, I am a poet. Though our engagement with language is different, our interests converge as we appreciate each other's focus and explorations, often into uncharted thoughts and against hostile resistance from the dominant culture, as we insist that voices be heard regardless of intonation or emotional tenor. Walter's work as the director of the Center for Humanities cannot and should not be undervalued. Not only did he conduct a service that assisted scholarship for colleagues, he also advocated for activities and events during Black History Month and Women's History Month that enriched the intellectual environment for students and faculty alike. He never hesitated to support statewide conferences and meetings for the Michigan Humanities Council that I served on for some years. He also enlisted investment in these activities from the Office of the President of our university to reiterate the significance of the humanities and the arts. As Walter returns to the faculty and to his office in the Maccabees building, I look forward to seeing him more often, lunching with him, or commiserating about intellectual and creative conundrums over a glass of Sauvignon Blanc at the close of day, because I know that whenever and wherever I see him, I will encounter a friend, which after all is what the humanities and the arts should strive for: a more humane world, engaging language, and extending caring words.
I'm humbled to be here. I think everyone in this room knows Walter longer than I have, but so I come from several other institutions from the outside. It didn't take long to see the impact that he's had on Wayne State and on this community. For nearly 30 years, Walter's contributions have really been at the heart of the arts and humanities here on this campus. The Humanities Center has had a profound impact on the lives of faculty, students, the larger community. In very real ways, it brought us together. Walter's nurtured scholarship, but he's also nurtured individual scholars. I think there are lots of people that share Melba's words that know a greeting from Walter really means something in the heart. And I see it when we pass in the hallway, and it just means a great deal. He's built connections. The Humanities Center has been key to interdisciplinary life on this campus. Built for many individuals, it's provided interdisciplinary lifelines. It's generated cross-disciplinary creative sparks. Walter does an amazing job at celebrating his colleagues and their work. I've had the pleasure on Zoom, but not in person, to hear his speaker introductions, which are always a work of art, and they mean something because who it comes from. And I think everyone always appreciates it. Walter's brought outside intellectuals and intellectual ideas to our campus, and he's always supported an expansive view of the humanities. And in doing so, he's championed the humane side of university life. I think that's part of what Melba was saying. He's made this place a much more humane place by his contributions. He inspires, encourages, supports others. He's led by example, by character, by his values. So many of us are the better for his contributions, and so is this university. I too, Walter, look forward to the publication of your book and your own work, and know that you will continue to be a much valued part of our community for a long time to come. Thank you so much.
With a parody of a Walter Brownbag introduction. But we need to get back the room by 5 p.m. And you can't parody a Walter introduction without exaggerated praise and an inflated list of accomplishments for the person you're introducing. And in all candor, it is difficult to exaggerate Walter's impact on this university. It's not just that, as director of the Humanities Center, he brought nationally and internationally acclaimed speakers to this campus, although he did. It's not just that the Humanities Center has given a lot of money to scholars, both young scholars and established scholars, to support their work in the humanities when there wasn't a lot of money for humanities research, although that has been an important contribution. And it's not just that he found creative ways to generate and sustain a sense of community at a time when our sense of community was so often under stress, although he did that. It's that he forged a vision of the Humanities Center that nurtured people. And Melba, you put this really beautifully. I came to Wayne State when I was 29 years old. Sorry, I'm getting emotional here. I had struck out on the tenure track job market, and I came as a temporary lecturer. And Walter always made me feel like I belonged here.
That's right.
He encouraged me to give brown bag talks. Now, a brown bag talk seems like a fairly low stakes kind of thing. You bring your lunch, you talk about your work. But those low stakes events connected me to scholars from so many different disciplines and gave me new perspectives on my work and gave me confidence to go on to build a career. I've been very, very fortunate in that career. I've lectured at Harvard, at Princeton, at Cambridge, at MIT. But every one of those talks, every one of the significant articles I wrote, the books that I wrote, had its roots in one of those so-called low-stakes events. And, you know, I joke about Walter's introductions and thank you so much. I joke about, it's really scotch is what I needed. I joke about those low stakes events. I joke about Walter's introductions rather. But for a young scholar who was a first generation college student and didn't necessarily feel like he belonged in academia.
That's right.
It made a real difference. And I also used to joke about the fact that if today is a day that ends in Y, there will be an email from Walter about a brown bag talk. But that just speaks to the fact of how many people have been nurtured through these kinds of programs. And so, Walter, I am so grateful to you for the ways in which you have nurtured young scholars and all scholars, and for the difference you have made, not just at Wayne State, but in the academic community at large. We are very much in your debt. Thank you.